about my weekly review process. And this is a process that I've followed honestly for 20 years now. And I can prove it in a moment I have on the weekly review, which I have been doing to help me focus on what I do and get things done, as well as give myself a little bit of time out, as well as being able to just reflect on my life in general and what I'm doing. And it has been an absolutely empowering process, which I've developed, I must admit, over the years. But what's important is I've shown up each week, most weeks, and had a meeting with myself, which I call the weekly review. So to get the weekly review in place, there's a couple of things that you perhaps need to think about in preparation. And what I do every Sunday, usually, I prepare for my weekly review, and I do a couple of things, and these are the things that I do to prepare. Number one, I do something called a household quick tidy, a quick sprint. And for half an hour, I put a podcast on, something motivational or some music, and I quickly clear through the house. I put things away, basically. So I start off in the kitchen, and then, I go in the living room and dining room, etc., up the stairs, quick in the bathrooms, put stuff away, in the bedrooms, and then finally in my office, and just literally put things where they belong. I also, if I can, have a quick wipe around, and that's it. It's not anything exciting. It's not anything amazing. It's something I do, and because what it's doing, subconsciously, it's starting my review process. It's also something I don't have to think about later on. So I have that review. I put stuff away. I clear the decks. I also do something every week, and I would encourage everybody to do this, is I back up my computers and I back up my phone and my iPad. Now I use Apple and I'm on the Apple system, and quite simply with the Apple phone, you can go to a setting, you can go to backup, and it backs up your iPhone to the cloud. Same with my iPad. I'm not going to pick my iPad up because I've got it here with my notes on. And then what I do is I back up. The next stage of that is I do a bit of cleaning up. I put things in folders, and I also run I've got a program, it cleans my Mac, I think it's called, and it cleans the Mac system down, and it gets rid of old files and things like that, and it does that. And then I do another backup. Now that sounds like, oh my Lord, Steve, that sounds a lot of work. It isn't. Once you know how to do it, it's dead easy. And once you've done one backup, your computer knows that you've done a backup before, and it takes less and less time. And I did mine this morning, and I timed it because I knew I was going to be talking to you guys today, and it took 5 minutes. My iPhone, a minute, my iPad, about a minute and a bit. And then the backup that I use in my computer is I plug a disk drive in, and it's called something an Apple, and it just does it, and it's done. In fact, I could be doing it now. Now, one question I get about that is about why do you do it twice? Well, the first time I do it is because the reason why I do it, firstly, is because I then do an update after I've done it, and then I do a second backup, because just in case something goes wrong in the update, and then at least I've got a backup. Okay, so that's a prep thing I do on a Sunday morning. You don't have to do that. I just find it really, really useful. And I wanted to go through my whole process. Okay, getting ready for the weekly review. Again, important, getting ready, get prepared. And I have and this is the thing that I would strongly recommend everyone gets, is a journal. Now, my journal is quite simply a diary that allows you, I'm trying to pick a blank page actually, so I don't show you everything. Don't mind sharing it with you folks, but I'm trying to pick, I can't even find a blank page. Look at that. Right, so my journal is like this. So it has the dates down this side, and it has a square piece of paper this side here where I can write onto it. And this is what I use for my journal, okay? So it's very simple. You can buy these. You can either buy them cheaply. This is one of those expensive ones, a moleskin one, because I quite like the feel of it. And I'm investing 10 quid in something that I'm going to use every week. And so this is my journal. So it's having that in place. And then I also think about the space and the time and the place that I'm going to do my weekly review. Now, where do I do mine? Okay, so I do mine. I, on a Sunday, go out and go for a swim on a Sunday, just to relax and swim. What I've got into the habit of doing is there's a pub next door. Okay, there's a pub next door. So I've done my tidy up, I've done my computers, I've gone for my swim, and then I pop in the pub and then I have a pint. So, you know, a pint glass. And what I do, basically, I do it there. I do my review process there. I'm away from everything. I'm away from it. I switch my phone off. I'm away from everything. So what we've done so far, we've prepped, we've got things out the way, and now we're going to step into the actual weekly review process. And I'm going to do it live to show you, once you've got all the prep in place, how easy this is and how empowering this can be. By the way, I've been doing this for 20 years and I've got 20 of these little black books every year for the last 20 years of my life. And just to show you, 10 years. Oh, I've broken the handle, it's that heavy. Not very good video, this is 10 years. There you go, look. 10 years of journaling. And what is wonderful about this is you can pick a journal. I'm going to pick one here, actually. There you go. Don't even know what year it is. 2011. Oh, oh yeah, 2011. That's 10 years ago, right? Wow. And I'm going to pick a page. Right. Here's an interesting one. I am writing here in what is it, December, actually, yeah. I'm writing about a time management system that I've been using. And I'm writing about the D's. So the decide, the do, the diary, the delegate, and the ditch. That's a good idea, isn't it? I've used that all the time. But I'm writing about it and how I've used it. I've also written about a family meal that I had. And I've also talked about the 5 things I am going to do that week. Fantastic. Next page I've turned over. I've written here what was on the radio at the time I was writing my journal. It's all about you, baby. Don't know why I wrote that, but I should write that, read that more. Isn't that fantastic? Memories from 2011 in that journal. So anyway, that shows you I do it. So should we get on with it? Should we get on with it? Come on, Steve, get on with it. Get on with your weekly review. Right, glass of water. I haven't got a pint. Glass of water. Here we go. Are we ready? So this is what I do. I get my journal out and I have 2 pages. I only use 2 pages. I use the page where the date is, where the, and then where the blank page is to it, next to it. And I basically say to myself, I am going to fill these 2 pages with my thoughts, my feelings, and I'm going to answer some key questions. What I do down the side here where the dates are, if there's anything in the week that I want to really remember, I just don't write it like, today I did this and I did that. I just write what it was. So I know, for example, on the 19th of September, I've written here, Her Majesty the Queen's funeral. It was a national day, global day of significance, wasn't it? And I just popped that in. This week I had a fantastic meal actually yesterday with members of my family, so I would just pop that in. So that's the first thing I do with the journals. I open it up on the days and I just literally think about the things that I've done and just literally write a title of them. Then I say to myself, right, Steve, you've got now this time scheduled, this meeting with yourself to do your weekly review. And I ask myself and I answer 5 questions. Sometimes as a tip, what I do is I start off the journal with, today is Sunday, the 2nd of October, and I am in the Greyhound having a pint. I noticed when I looked through the others the other day, I opened one and it said, today is Wednesday, the something of August, and I am on Pier 39. Pier 39 is in San Francisco. When I read that, I was transformed to where I was. Your memory is great about location and it puts you in the spirit. And I can remember it now. I can remember sitting, having clam chowder, watching the seals, and just taking in the ambience. And that just transformed me back straight away there. So it's sometimes good to put a location and where you are and what you're doing. You're adding emotion to things. And when you add emotion, we know what happens. You create motion, don't you? So anyway, back to the review. So the first question I ask myself in a paragraph to write at least 5 things I am grateful for from the week. 5 things I am grateful for, my grateful list. Now, when you start doing a grateful list, I suggest you do it every day, to be honest with you. Write a few things down that you're grateful for. You start with the big things: your family, your house, your car, your health, your work colleagues. But sometimes it's just great to write the fun things, the little fun things that you're grateful for. Grateful for the walk that you had, grateful for that tree that's been growing in your garden for the last 2 or 3 years, grateful for the bacon sandwich you had this morning with the brown sauce on, grateful for the healthy smoothie that you have. See, I can do healthy and I can do what's it called as well, fattening at the same time. But just things that you might. Grateful for the shirt that you had. Grateful for the pair of jeans that are fitting well. Grateful for this sip of drink, whatever you're taking, this lovely cup of tea. Just write 5 things that you're grateful for. You don't have to write why. It just sparks emotion. It sparks happiness. It sparks joy. Try that. Question number 2 I ask is quite simply, what's gone well this week? What's gone well this week? So think about when you've been, out and about and what you've been doing. What's gone well? Have you made a difference in people's lives? Have you, done something that's really affected you? What's gone well? What's given you feelings of joy, happiness? You feel it in your heart. You feel joyous about it. What has gone well, and why? Why did it go so well? Did you put the planning in? Did you speak to people? Did you build on your relationships? Did you have some motivation? What's gone well? Great question to ask. Question number 3 is, what didn't go so well? This is not what went wrong. This is not beat yourself up like we like to do. No, this is what didn't go so well. What would you basically want to change if you did it again for the better? What didn't go so well? So maybe you came in from work on Thursday night and you snapped at your partner, your significant other, because you've had a really busy journey and you're stuck in traffic and the radio was rubbish and you didn't have a particularly good afternoon, and you came home and you snapped at your partner when you walked through the door. That didn't go well. Maybe one day you didn't have a lot of energy and you didn't get stuff done. And I think what's important about the not what went well is not to pick at it, not to keep scratching it and make it even worse than it is. Just take a step back. And the good thing about a journal is taking a step back, and you can say, right, what didn't go well? And ask the question, why? Because could you have changed something? Could you have just done something differently? Could you have thought differently? Could you have had a different process? So what didn't go well? Now, question number 4 is the best question, I think. Best question is, what did I learn? And what can I change, or what can I do differently? Okay. What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about people around me? What did I learn about others? What did I learn from a book, a tape, a conversation, a tape? What am I talking about? A tape. We don't have tapes anymore, do we? An audio book or a podcast. What did I learn from the TV or the internet? Something that really stuck out to you this week that you learned. Also, review what went well and what didn't go well, and what did you learn from that? So what went well? Why did that presentation go so well? Well, because I asked others for their opinions, I practiced it, I used a note system, my presentation was spot on, the colours were great, and I was confident. I took a deep breath before I went into the presentation, and I owned it, and I loved it, and it was fab. And the questions were great, brilliant. Why did it go well? Because you prepared and you had stuff ready. What didn't go well? What about that? You know, that thing I talked about, going into your house and you know, being snaggy with someone and naggy with someone. You know, maybe what you could have learned from that is, okay, just sit in the car for 2 minutes or maybe a minute, do some deep breaths, just letting the frustrations out. You know, breathe in the calm, the joy, breathe out the frustration. You know, breathe it out before going in to your house. You know, before you take that with you. Leave those suitcases in the trunk or the boot of your car. That is a way of saying, okay, what did I learn and what could I do differently? Because maybe next time you will come back and say to yourself, okay, I've been here before, could I do this differently? As I just dipped into one of my journals from 2011, I'm now thinking about the 5 Ds of time management again. How could I now use that in what I know now, nearly 11 years on? Interesting, isn't it? So what did you learn? What would you do differently? And then the last part of the weekly review, I write down 5 things of what I am going to achieve. Not what I'm wanting to achieve, not what I may achieve, what I am going to achieve the next week. Okay? And I write them down, and then what I do is, either if I can do it there and then, I pick up my phone and I book, not a meeting with myself, but I book it into my diary, my actual schedule, and say, task 1, do this. Task 2, do this. And I might have to do 2 or 3 across the week, but I physically book it into my schedule, what I'm going to do to get those 5 things done in that week. Now, those 5 things may be based around your goals, your dreams, your objectives, your aspirations, whatever you call them. And we're not going to go into goal setting here. I think a lot of people already know how to do goal setting. It's goal doing that's the most important, isn't it? And this review session allows you to think of 5 things that you actually are going to do to achieve the goals that you set out yourself. What you are actually going to do. And of course, you're going to do them, aren't you? You're going to get on and do them, and you're going to schedule them. And then next week, when you come to do your weekly review, you can say, what went well? I did my 5 things. How did I do them? You're going to learn that when you ask yourself the question, what went well and what did you learn and what were you going to do differently? You may be going to write what you were grateful for. You know, you might have done your 5 things, and one of your things was to speak to 3 people you've not spoken to for a long time. And in your grateful list, I'm grateful for speaking to my friends and reconnecting. I'm really grateful to have that in my life. And that's it. That's my my weekly review. So do a few bits before I start, get things ready, you know, do a clean down. I back up things and get ready. I've got my journal ready. I go to my place. I know the time I'm going to do it, when I'm going to book that. I actually put it in my diary, by the way, meeting with myself. I put that in just because I do. Sometimes the times change, and then I go through those 5 questions and I try and enjoy it. Okay, I enjoy it. So I ask the questions, what am I grateful for? Thumbs up. What am I grateful for? What went well this week? What didn't go well this week? What did I learn? And more importantly, what am I going to do differently? And number 5, what 5 things am I going to do next week? And for me, the week starts on Sunday. And I get asked that question, well, why, Steve, do you do that? Because if my week starts on Sunday, I'm rested, I'm recuperated, I've done some tidying up, I've reviewed my week. And then after that point, I can get on and do something else. So I'm going to do something else now and enjoy the week. It's not necessarily I'm going to my workplace, whatever that is. Some of you might not have a workplace, you might work at home, or you might do other things. That's fine. But for me, Sunday is about that day of rest, recuperation and review. And I get it all done, and I get it done very quickly. Now, I've just done that in about 20 minutes. Now, I know I've talked about it, but maybe it's time for you to grab your journal. Maybe it's time for you now to go and grab your journal and answer those questions. What am I grateful for? What went well this week? What didn't go well this week? What did I learn, and what am I going to do differently? And the last one, what 5 things am I going to achieve next week? I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope I explained that to you. If you have got any comments on the weekly review, my weekly meeting with myself, please do pop that down in the chat. And if you want to tell people about this, tell people about this. Tell them about it. You know, this technique, this strategy I have, that's it. That's it. That's what I've done for the last 20 years. And I've got these wonderful journals to now have a look at. And more importantly, what have I learned? What have I done? You know, try it out. I'd be really interested if people tried this out for the next month, or tried it out today and see how it helped you, and how it empowered you, and how it helped you get started, and how you and one of these things about, by the way, this technique, it gets you started, it keeps your momentum going, and it gets you done, which is a bit of a motto of mine, isn't it? You know, you get yourself started, but more importantly, it's the momentum. And if these are years of momentum, okay, you're never always going to get it done, because you know what? When this journal is finished, there'll be another one. I've not bought my new journal for this year yet. I usually do it in November when they come out, and I'm starting to use these journals because they're a lot more robust, and they've got like a little thing that you can, you can travel with it. Another question I've had, by the way, is do you do it on holiday? Yeah, I do it on holiday. I take it with me. I actually probably write a bit more on holiday. And the great thing about these journals that I use, these Moleskine ones, at the end of the journal, there are blank pages that you can write more on. So often I try and write more on. But the rule I stick for, when I do the weekly review, I try and keep it into 2 pages and 2 pages only, just because that allows me to do it quickly and I stay within the remit where I'm doing. I also, when I'm doing it, switch off my mobile phone just so I focus on what I'm doing. Right, that's it. That's the weekly review done. Any comments down below, folks? Thanks for watching me live. If you're watching me at another time, comments below as well. It'd be great to hear from you, from your weekly review. And please do share it with your friends, family and colleagues, and anyone who else would be interested. But until we speak again, have a fantastic week. Go and do your weekly review. Bye now.